Good morning, everybody. It's your old buddy Jerry again. Yeah, man, I just don't know today. Tell you what, I got these Genesis back in here, and I'm really liking them. Man, I mean, the Leviathan, they were definitely impressive, but God, I just get so much windier with these and play so much lower. But I can turn it up higher too, which really helps. But anyway, we're going to get into a question that I seen, and they were asking about, do you build an enclosure to subwoofer spec? Or do you tweak it, to fit your needs? And that's a fair question, in all honesty. It's pretty fair. Getting that dang sun glare in there on me. We're gonna pull up out of that just real quick. And I'm not going to edit it out because, yeah, I don't do that. Good God. This whole road's nothing but a sun glare. We just cruising, guys. Ouch. I'm off the road, so that's why it looks like I'm on a roller coaster ride or bumper cars at the amusement park. This should be a nice sun or shaded area. I see a big old patch of shade up here. Ain't helping though, is it? Sun glare right there. Ooh, yeah. That'll work. So anyway, guys, I'm just gonna give you something to think about here. It's probably almost best to build a subwoofer enclosure to that sub spec, but there's factors that come in, like you want to play rebass music lower. You want to try to hair trick, which you kind of need tuned lower. You have a lot more power than what the sub is rated for, which most of us do. Then you're definitely going to want to tweak that enclosure. But something that a lot of people don't think about, I see lots of people like build an enclosure dead for that subwoofer, like dead to the spec. What if you blow that sub? And what if you started out with a budget sub, like, one of my least favorite subs. Not bashing on them, is just one of my least favorite. When you learn how to read TS parameters, things change. But the Scar EVL, not a great sub. So what if you start with that, you're on a budget, and you build an enclosure spec to that sub. And then you're like, you know what, man? I want to buy a ZV5. I want to get in the old Sundown, or a nice Def Bonts, 3.5 or something. Then you got an enclosure built for a budget sub, and that higher end sub might not fit in there. What if that happens? Yeah. What I like to do, like when I design this thing, I just, man, there is a baseline out there, guys. And I'm not recommending everybody do this. This is just how I do it, because I know some people are going to be in the comments like, that is just terrible advice. But this is how I do it. Like when I built this. I built this for American base EVLs. Budget sub. And I didn't build it for them. I mean, that's what I had to put in it, but I didn't build it for them. I went all across the old interweb looking at subwoofer specs and enclosure requirements for DC level 5s, level 6s, Sundown ZV5s, Sundown ZV3s, the Def Bonts, FI audio. I was scouring all the 15s that are decent name brand. And they had a lot in common. The airspace requirements. Most of them wanted 3 to 3.75. Some of them wanted 4. So, you kind of add all them numbers together that they want for an enclosure, and then you divide by the amount of subs, it's going to give you a pretty good baseline. Now you can just kind of clearly look at the numbers and see that the majority of them are reoccurring. I didn't take port into consideration or nothing. I didn't take tuning into consideration. But I definitely took airspace requirements into consideration. And any enclosure I build, I do that because I don't want to be stuck with an enclosure that only worked for one sub. And honestly, you know, most sub sizes do have a reoccurring airspace requirement. I'm not saying all, but I'm saying a lot do. So if you got a new build coming, don't lock yourself down to one sub is all I'm saying. You know, I see people ask that question all the time, like, you know, should I tweak the numbers or leave them the same for this sub? Man, it don't matter what you have. Just kind of look at a bunch of different sub brands for that size and find you a baseline. You know, don't build it like right on the small side. Don't build it on the big side. That's kind of why I do the add together and divide by to get like, you know, just an average number right there in the middle for everybody. You know, it might be just a hair on the small side for this sub, just going to increase power handling. Might be a little on the big side for this sub, going to help that efficiency a little bit. You know, so with this, I mean, I've had all kind of different subs in this thing, from, you know, really budget subs to some higher end subs, and it has performed extremely well with all of them. So yeah, that'd be my recommendation. You know, port, it's going to be all different for everybody. As I've said in videos before, I usually start between 15 and 18 square inches of port per cube. Do what you want, you know, tune where you want, because obviously the bad thing is if you look at a subwoofer's TS parameters and say that the FS on that sub is 34, you don't want to tune at 34 hertz. You know, that tuning for 34 is with that sub sitting there brand new, more than likely. Now, stiff spiders and everything that aren't loosened up yet, I notice in here all the time when I put new subs in, it doesn't play lows really well. It wants to really favor, you know, that like 28, 29 hertz. It really wants to favor that. But after I get some play time on it, especially like just sitting here playing 18 hertz at like a mediocre volume, letting them do this, usually in a decent amount, you know, decent amount of time. All subs are different, but they get loosened up and then they want to play them lows, you know. So you can't even really go off your TS parameter FS to tune your enclosure, because you don't know what the sub's gonna be at after it's all loosened up and everything. So, and with this, you know, I mean, I just tuned the old lower chamber to around 22 to 24, getting that ballpark. Couldn't really dial it in 100% because I'm using a big ass port. And, you know, the pieces like this, when you get into a 10-inch port, them little pieces don't do a whole lot. You know, you can kind of do the math and calculate your port and add 1 inch to it, and it ain't gonna, it don't show really no different on the old port calculator. So, you know, I don't know, it kind of just stays the same sometimes. And that's the problem when you get a really big port. You really, you kind of need like a 3-inch link change to really get you like another hertz down, but it happens. But anyway, guys, I hope this kind of helps you clear some things up. I've kind of gone over how you like shrink a box just a little bit to up your power handling. We've kind of had another video talking about tuning and everything, and this is just how I do things. Man, I know some of y'all just might throw some hate in the comments, like, you should really build a sub for that woofer, but I hope my explanation here, you know, it's a give and take, definitely. I mean, is it going to perform optimal? you know, maybe it might actually perform better than what they recommend. Because I think some subwoofer companies just kind of might throw out a generic recommendation. I know one company in particular that lowers their power handling rating on their subwoofers so they don't end up like the whole Rockville thing. You know, where Rockville said that I think it was their K9s that handle like 1,000 watts, and all these YouTube guys like EXO, for instance, they've done it themselves, not bashing Rockville, but they actually went live on YouTube and did it themselves, trying to compare it to a Sundown SA. They blew their own sub comparing it to a Sundown SA, saying there's no way the SA could take that amount of power for that long. And it did, and their sub didn't. So I know there's subwoofer, you know, companies that on purpose lower their RMS just so that don't happen. You know, and I think a lot of, I know of another subwoofer company that purposely gives you a little smaller enclosure design to help with power handling. So, you know, these are all give and takes, guys. I look at like a recommended subwoofer spec, you know, is just a baseline. Like this is the baseline you start at. You tweak it, you know, up or down, whatever from there. So anyway, that's all I got today, guys. It's just a quick update for those of you that have watched this far. I do have all 4 of the subs for the Blazer now. I think I mentioned in another video, you know, I got 4 Synergy WFO fittings for the Blazer, and lo and behold, you know, one got damaged in shipping, which if y'all knew my UPS driver, it's no big deal. I mean, it is a big deal, but this dude just don't give a crap at all. But, I mean, I've seen him roll subwoofer boxes out of the truck onto the concrete at my house. He don't care. But, I did get the 4th one in finally. You know, the guy like Kurt at Synergy like packaged this thing up to withstand, like, you know, some bombing in Ukraine or whatever. I mean, he boxed that thing up really good. He had it packaged really well. So I got that. I got everything I need to do the sub swap in the Blazer. The Blazer's been sitting there with no subwoofers. I'm gonna throw another little quick update out here. Y'all seen my video on here where I wasn't really happy with Brand X. I'm not happy at Brand X at all. And I've seen this dude bash people before. And he did it to me. You know, he talked to me like I was an idiot. When I messaged him and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm having a problem getting this thing up to 16 volt. It ain't wanting to go a hair over 15.8. You know, I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. He just kept telling me to do the same thing over and over is all he would reply. You know, turn the knob all the way back down, slowly turn it up. Okay, yeah, I've done that 40 times. It ain't helping. The guy that developed and created this product, the voltage regulator for Brand X, he reached out to me. I sent it to him. He did some testing. Lo and behold, Jerry was right. There was a problem with the unit. You know, even on his own test bench, there was problems in it that would not allow it to go above 15.8. Most of us that run C-Max, we definitely want to charge at like 16 to 16.5. That's the happy spot with C-Max. That's where you get the best reserve out of the battery, whatever. But, you know, he is rebuilding the unit and sending it back to me. But the bad thing is, the owner of Brand X, who has his logo on the board of this thing, he don't want to get no customer support. That's a problem. And I've seen lots of posts of him when somebody has an issue with his product, he always blames the person and something they did rather than like, hey, you know, maybe there was a bad part I put in there. To me, that's terrible business, you know. The guy that developed this thing, he reached out to me. And he's, you know, he did the test. He wanted me to send it in. He did the test, and there was something wrong with it. I respect that a hell of a lot more than someone who ain't going to take responsibility for their own product. You know, from this point forward, I would probably never recommend Brand X to anybody. You know, there's lots of other alternator companies out there that I'll recommend. But I can't stand behind somebody that wants to blame you for a problem with their product. Now, if the dude that is repairing this, that designed it, if he would actually want to make these like regulators and sell them, man, I would recommend him all day long. I'd be like, you want a regulator? Hit up Joshua. That's the man right there, because I know he'll stand behind his product. And that actually means a lot to me, and it should mean a lot to you as the end consumer. Rather than you have a problem with a product and get told you're an idiot and you installed it wrong, when lo and behold, upon testing, I was right, you were wrong, I wasn't installing it wrong. But anyway, I don't want to rant about that. I'm just giving y'all updates on what's going on in Jerry's life with Jerry's base shit. And that's about all I got, guys. So I should be getting that back in the mail soon. I'll be sticking it back in here. And then I'm going to be putting the Fat Boy in the wife's Blazer for dual alts, because I'm supposed to have another alt coming. I already got the second alt, or the alternator bracket, to run dual alts. So, you know, I had a guy reach out to me wanting to do a review on his product, and he builds higher end alternators, you know, like Singer and Ohio Generator and stuff like that, you know, Mechmans and US alts. He builds quality like they do, maybe a little above them, but really ain't heard nothing back from him. So I don't know. I need to add a second alt. I mean, that was in my plans anyway. So, but anyway, guys, that's the update I have for you. I'm gonna have some videos coming soon of just updating some things. So peace out, everybody. Base on. Thank you for watching. Please comment something down below. Subscribe, like the video, whatever. Everything helps. Peace out.